Alright, well, thank you for stopping by again, and today we are going to combine the armature that has all the bones, and I'll show you how to do that in Blender, and this will be a useful, this is useful for both Torque and Unity, so we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to steal the armature from the original creature, which is the Eulangi. And we'll go ahead and figure out where he is. It's in the races, I believe. Yeah. I don't know why he's so far away. There we go. It's this armature here. We're going to go ahead and put that in. That will be the first stage to animating this. And I had saved a separate copy of this so I can start just making separate files for the various bone parts. As far as this, I want this to actually be an animated creature. So I'm going to go into object mode, and I'm going to append. So you're going to go out, erases, Eulangi, object, armature. There we are. There is the armature of the Eulangi. It is now where the skeleton is. There's a lot of these bones that we don't need anymore. So we'll go ahead and go through that. Now, some of these are mount points. Let's see, edit mode, okay. Some of these are mount points. Mount 0 is typical for just about any model. Not sure if they have mount points in Unity. I'll have to look into that. I want to learn more about Unity, of course, as I'd recommend learning about every engine, to be honest, so that you can decide what's best for you. And what else we have? Mount 1. It's probably the helmet. That's the alt eye. Okay, well, we'll just go through these and figure out which ones I'm going to get rid of. There is no eyes for this character anymore. So I'm going to get rid of that. There's no membranes. One at a time. I'm going to delete these out. That's the head. There you go. Eye slit. We don't need that. Eye dot. Don't need that. There'll be less confusion when making vertex groups if we get rid of all the unnecessary bones here. Brow. Definitely not. What's that? Okay. There's no movable parts for where the Eulangi breathe from, which would be the single hole from the back of their head, or they breathe through the mouth just like we can. There's no need for that, for any movement, or animation I should say. So I'm just going to get rid of that bone. We'll just trim this down. Alright. Head we'll need. I'm going to keep all the mount points. Alt eye is fine. You know, I'll keep that just in case. Maybe one day I'll make it a usable character by a player. And this alt eye is for repositioning the camera. So, there you go. Armature can, that's fine. Armature eye, yeah. The jaw will probably move, so we'll keep that. What is this? Tongue? I don't think we need a tongue anymore. That has been rotted away. Why is that mouth mod? Okay, we'll just get rid of the tongue. And I don't remember what these were for. It's literally been about 2 years since I've had to deal with these. I don't think we need those. I know we don't need them. Mount 4, Mount 5, for probably a cape, if I remember correctly, and helmet. We got the neck. So some of these would add some variety if we had some skeletons, enemies come in with various types of armor mixtures. So I'll keep all that. all the hands are intact. These are for the rings, these mount points, mount 13, etc. And it was mostly in the face where they were irrelevant bones. We have the tail still, so that's relevant. You can have boots, so we have these mount points here. And of course the leg we're going to need. Okay, I think we're ready. Now, you'll see that these bones are not, or this armature is not. I'm going to call this the armature, even though it's also referred to as bones. I'm going to call it as an armature, or refer to it as an armature to lessen the amount of confusion, since this is a skeleton creature. I'm going to go into object mode, and the armature goes into that mode. Go to pose mode. Okay. Now, this is where we alter this so that it's in alignment with our character. So, right, forward. It's really just these two. So I'm going to select those. Select them in the middle, like that. Oh, I forgot to do that. Sorry about that, guys. Probably need to know what I'm pressing here. Wish this was just permanent. Okay, there we go. Now you determine what I'm doing. Press in and grab. Okay. This is problematic. We need to make sure that we duplicate both sides effectively. Grab X. .0576. Grab X. Negative 576 it should be. As close as possible. Oh, I had it. Okay. What I'm looking at, if you don't know where I'm looking at, is right at the bottom of this window. You'll see a D and X positioning for the global. And that's what I look for. Get that ball there. Grab Y. Okay. Grab Z. Let's see if that would do something for us. Okay. Grab Z. The bottom left corner of this window, you'll see that it's 0.1346. Try to duplicate that over here. Okay. So unfortunately, I got to reposition all these bones. You, man. Okay. mainly the arms that are kind of messed up. So I'm going to do a couple test runs. I don't know what it's concentrating on there, but let's see if we can do this. Okay, box select, good. Down 0.11. Negative 0.0386. Remember that? Actually, don't. Need just to get all these guys too. Okay. Both arms at the same time. That's great. Such a problem figuring that out. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now the bones are in place. Okay, so we go to object mode. There we go. Now clean that up. Alright. Let it begin. So we select the armature. And we hit parent. No. Control P. Oh, I don't want to do that. Maybe it's the object. Control P. There we go. Control P. You select the. Let's redo that again to make sure I have it. Okay, come on, stop. Okay. Object. Okay, what you need to do is select the object first, then armature, Control P. That will give you the option to parent it with automatic weights. I showed you weights in the other video. This will attempt to automatically do it. They will be wrong. This is a skeleton creature. The automatic weights are based upon normal humanoids. So we'll have to go in and do our own weights, but might as well see what the end result will be. So let's see what we got. There we go. See some of the skeleton is moving. So we'll have to go in and adjust the paints to make sure that these are not affected. It had attempted to make proper vertex groups. Some of them didn't even get assigned. So all of this will have to go in and meticulously fix all that. If you go in and make the animations, which I'll go ahead and do, you'll see what it looks like when it's screwed up, when the vertex groups are incorrect and the weighting is incorrect. It's important for you to understand what that looks like. So when you see, especially stuff like that, where there's an artifact where one part of the model seems to stay in place, that means some of the vertex groups weren't assigned. And that goes for Unity and Torque. So just keep that in mind. If you see that in the game, you know what had happened. Something didn't get assigned. It doesn't know what it belongs to. So we're going to see that in the game engine with an animation applied. We're going to try to use the old animations and use it for the skeleton. You'll see what that looks like when it's incorrect. It's important to understand what it looks like incorrect so that you can go in and fix it when you see these errors. So, see you there. Okay, first we need to export this. Make sure I'm recording. Yeah, good. Okay, first we need to export this model. Export model. It isn't races anymore, it's monsters. There we go. Now, there is something unique you have to do with Torque. Go ahead and show that to you now. I have a creature that's upright that uses that walks upright, that uses the same animations as the main character. So I don't have to make brand new animations. And again, I'm trying to show you what kind of errors you can expect when this is done incorrectly, but what will allow you to understand, what visuals you'll see when it's done incorrectly, so that you can go ahead and go back through and fix this. And I'm not seeing it, so I'm probably going to have to go in and copy the original Eulangi characters.cs file. You notice like a Banchus, for instance, has a .cs file. These are all the animations, okay? And we're going to do something similar. Use this TS constructor, I believe. But anyway, we'll go ahead and go to races. Where are you? You have a Kaith.cs. That's one of the races you can choose. And the Eulangi. We don't need a lot of these. That's why I wanted the monster instead, because it was pretty much just the very basic movements. It's odd I can't find it all of a sudden. Eulangi moving? Oh, well, it was upgraded, so because it doesn't matter anyway. We're going to go ahead and take all of this, and we are going to, actually, let's just save as. Where are we at? Shapes, monsters. Where are you at? And skeleton. Save. Okay, now we can alter this. Basically, anywhere you see Eulangi, I'm going to put Eulangi skeleton instead. It's that simple. This // means it's within this folder, which it is now. Eulangi skeleton.dae or collada file is in this folder. What will remain the same are the Eulangi's animations. So we're going to leave that alone. And all of those have the exact location where those are at, so we'll leave that alone. These break down the animations in accordance to what kind they are. Are they cyclic? In other words, do they repeat over and over again? Or do they stop after they reach the end of whatever animation it is? and I'm going to have to probably make specialized animations for this character, but we want to make sure everything is correct here. And anytime you make a .cs file, you don't have to make a root directory. It automatically will find them. Anytime it finds a .cs file, we'll open it up and read whatever is in it automatically when it comes to various models. So I think that should be it. So when we bring this guy into the world, he's going to look really messed up. You're going to be able to see that he's trying to animate, but you're going to see the telltale signs when animation is not done correctly. And I would imagine, actually I remember reading in forums for Unity that people in Unity doing models experience the same thing. Again, it's because vertex groups were not created correctly, and not all the vertices or faces, however you want to look at it, have been assigned to a vertex group. So when it's told to move the left arm, some of the vertices and the squares or the faces that exist in that arm that are not assigned to that vertex group, they're not a part of the movement of that arm, so they just stay in place, and it creates these weird artifacts. So let's go ahead and see that in action. And I don't want to have to look up how this, there it is. How easy is that? If you remember in the last video, I brought this character in. I'm going to make sure everything loads in. It's going to slow it down a little bit. Another foggy day on Euthana stream. Let's take this guy. Since this is an enemy, and I have him situated as an enemy in the text file, he's going to immediately attack my character and the NPC that's loaded for the quest, actually. And I don't need that right now, I just want to load him in. So I'm going to take this, it's actually the crown that the Eulangi generally have, and just name it something. Its ID is 6270. Any instance of an object in the game world will have an ID assigned to it, but it doesn't have to have a name. Okay. Recopy that, put that in, make a few adjustments here to this function that I had created a while back, actually. Skeleton 0 and surface 2. Remember, we just named that surface 2, and all we need is just the positioning of this object. Okay, let me show you that. Every object has its position. That's all we actually want from this. We don't care anything else about it. And let's go ahead and load them in. Okay. He's trying to move. Actually, when he's moving his... I'm surprised he's able to do that well. Oh, okay. You see this little stringed artifact? Let me bring him in. He's doing pretty well for a crappy vertex sectioning off. Okay, so there's obviously something in his face that's not assigned to any vertex group at all, so you'll get this weird situation going on. So as various animations are played and the vertex groups aren't assigned, you're going to get all kinds of weird artifacts as well. I'm actually quite surprised that he even does as well as he does. Here's some more issues. The vertex groups of this Talon are not assigned, so it goes to the origin. Doesn't know where to put them. Now that this has an animation. And there we are. He's screwed up now, but we'll go ahead and we'll go in and fix him. And maybe I can still use the animations of the main character. That'd be great, because it's a lot less instructions that I have to have loaded into the system. But I will need to show you how to do an animation eventually. but I'm kind of impressed how he's able to walk around. Maybe over time I'll notice more flaws. And you have that issue where if somebody creates something, they have a higher, they look at it in a higher level than somebody that's just observing it. So maybe that's what's going on. But I'm kind of impressed that he's able to do what he's able to do. I'm trying to follow him. He likes to move a lot. He likes to move around quite a bit here, so it's pretty cool. Let's see what happens when we get close to him. He doesn't like that. That doesn't look right at all. He's able to hit me. Okay. Very weird looking. Alright. I believe it was the toe down here that was creating an artifact in the game, meaning it didn't know its position because it was not attached to a vertex group, which are these over here. Because of that, it pulled into the center of this object, which actually happens to be here. This is the very center of this skeleton. So any faces that are not assigned are going to pull all the way down to the center because they don't know where to go. They don't know where they're assigned. So each animation tries to play, it doesn't know where this toe is, for instance. So let's see why that is. All right. Another thing, I have all these mount points, but I unfortunately did not set it to where these mount points would ignore creating vertex groups. So what I have to do is go in and delete these vertex groups for the mount points. They're not needed. There should be no... Press A. Oh, hold on a second. Let me set this... Screen. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. Press A. Selects everything, all the faces when you're in edit mode. And press A again. Unselects. That's kind of like how I clear things out, so I don't have secret faces possibly highlighted like over here or something, and I don't realize it, and then I'm manipulating something over here, such as even pressing delete, and it will delete that face. I've done that before. It's kind of annoying, so you get into a habit and kind of clear things out. Just do that. But anyway, let's go ahead and delete all these mount. First off, I'm going to show you what mount 5 has. Mount 5 is over here. It's one of these. It's probably this one right here. It tried to assign some faces to itself. We don't need that. And we'll go ahead and delete that. We do that. Well, we might have a vertex group over here. I don't see a place where you delete this. Oh, I see it now. So let me find a mount point, delete it out. Okay. And we'll find all the other mount points. None of these mount points should have vertex groups. That's not, their only purpose is to supply a positional data for mounting armor or weapons and things of that sort. They don't have anything to do with the faces like these other vertex groups will. So, delete those out. It's not a big deal. Get rid of them. Alright. So you can see there's a lot of different armor pieces that you can load in. That's it. No more mount parts. Hold Alt-I, I, and Cam. Those are positional data as well. So let's look for anything weird like that. All the fingers. That's good. Okay. sure that's a clean bill of health there. The mouth mod. Oh, okay. I was originally going to I was planning on having an animation go through point A to point B, of course, but during the transition it would morph part of the face. I don't think it's going to work that way. I'm going to have to go in and program something a little bit better to where it was for basically a face select for when you were creating a character. So if I had an animation for the mouth, I would be able to modify the mouth, make it more pointy up to a certain point. And at the beginning of the animation, it would be the base that you see here. Those are probably not important, but I'm not going to take it out either. It's not that big of a deal. These vertex groups could have possibly interrupted smooth animations. Now, once again, I probably will have to make specific animations for this skeleton because he's different enough that I'm probably going to be forced to do that, which is fine, but there's a lot of animations to create. So that's kind of why I'm reluctant to have to do that, and that's why I try to keep the exact same armature and connect it, but sometimes it's just not in the cards. So let's go ahead and go through this and find out why this toe is not connected. So that is going to be the left side. So, yep, that's the left side. And past all this, let's just select all these. This is how you do it. You select a vertex group. Remember, we had the system create these vertex groups based on the bone names when we mounted the armature to my skeleton creature. So we select. What does that do? Okay. So this left thigh believes it should have control over this entire sector here. Okay. Let's look in weight paint mode real quick so you give you a familiarity with that. You can see the green has the blue is completely cold. It has no effect at all. It has very little effect on this area. The green area has a lot of effect on this red area. I'm not sure why it thinks it should not have an effect in the middle here. We might have to paint that in. But it automatically assigned this weight painting. And it did a pretty good job. I mean, this is an alien creature. It's a skeleton on top of it. It's not really made for this type of thing. And it's kind of amazing that it would even attempt or have a successful attempt of any kind, but the programmers did an excellent job. And that's the shin, so it believes it has all of this as dominance. Left foot, select, has that. Left toe base, okay. So I can already tell it wasn't this over here, it was this toe that should be connected to this left toe base. There is a problem, though. There's actually a lot of stuff over here that is not a part of the algorithm. So let's go to what I know. Left toe base, let's select that. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select these areas. Actually, it's better to go in vertex mode so it ignores the seaming that I have. And left toe base, assign. And I would assume okay. Select. Left foot should be the entire left foot, to be quite honest. So let's go ahead and do that and get this entire foot selected. And let's see what the cause and effect is in the game world. Okay. And left foot, select, oh, okay, that doesn't matter, assign. I don't remember if I hit assign. Did I hit assign for the other one? Let's find out real quick. Yeah, I did. Okay. And if this side's wrong, I guarantee you the other side's wrong. But I just want to see if our toe situation is remedied through what I just did there. No. And unlocks. Notepad++ will open up all of the past scripts that I most recently messed with. And let's go ahead and go into the game world and see what I did. There will still be artifacts. I'm kind of curious after taking out those mount points that should not have had assigned for text groups what that will do, and also reassigning some of the faces to the vertex groups responsible for the left foot and toe. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to move this guy over. I don't know if you remember in the last demo or the last video, all I require is the positional information of this object here for my function to work. I'm going to call it surface 2. I can name it anything I want. All I'm interested in is its position here. My function that I had created quite a while ago, actually. It's right here. And I'll go into the console and load in our skeleton. Oops. I'm going to make some modifications. Rename that surface 2. Hold on 1 second. This needs to be saved, so I don't have to do this every time. Okay. And the name of the text file was skeleton0.txt. We don't have to put that part. Skeleton0. Should be it. There he is. Alright. Looks like there is some anomalies coming from his hand. Yeah, he's got some twisting and pulling. I don't see the toe having a problem, I don't think. Just stand still for 1 second. Oh, there is. That's the right side, though. We didn't mess with that side. So we'll go in and fix those and see what we have. So we know that what we did was having a positive effect. What is this? His jaw looks a little strange. Oh, there's a lot of messed up stuff here, that's why. Okay. He's a very deformed skeleton. It's amazing it even attempts to animate this with so much... there's so much information that's missing. I'm kind of curious. I'm going to go into his text file and give him a normal weapon. It's Kaylee's is what their base weapon is, and see what happens from there. I want to see how his attack animation runs. Yeah, that's one thing. You have to document what you do, because eventually you come back to this stuff, you know, who knows when, and you forget a lot of stuff along the way. Its weapon 1 is natural attack image. That's actually a weapon that I use an invisible texture to, because all I want is the data of the weapon hitting and so forth for what would be perceived as a natural attack. But this creature can hold a weapon, so it makes sense. And so I'm going to go in. These guys have regular blunt-edged Kaylee's image. I've never remembered that. It's been a while. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy, that same weapon. And let's check him out. I'm going to load him back in, and he's going to attack my character. even though he's messed up animation-wise, it should be entertaining all the same. I'm curious to see what happens. Lucky he might shoot off his magic. I did give him a lightning spell image, so I'm also going to have to make him some custom sound effects. Let's see that he has... Oh, wow. He's not holding it correctly at all. Wow, he's messed up. He's trying. Let's see if I can get a little bit of a distance from him and try to use his spell. No. Let's go. Well, that's not too, that shouldn't be, that's not too surprising, to be honest. So, we'll just go through and try to fix the vertex groups and see what the end result is. Hopefully, we can get him back to doing what he's supposed to be doing. It's just a little odd. This is the mount point. It's kind of concerning. Yeah, mount 0. So it should have been the exact same place. I don't really know why they mounted the weapon the way it did. Of course, everything's messed up, so maybe when we fix all the vertex groups, this will go to normal. So we'll see. And I will leave that to the next video.